Warning: these records present disturbing content. This documentary series explores authentic cases of elderly individuals who committed horrifying acts, concluding with an account that will fundamentally alter your perspective. A recent incident demonstrates that advanced age doesn't guarantee innocence. These unsettling accounts challenge our preconceptions about senior citizens, culminating in a revelation that will leave you speechless. Ready to discover how individuals presumed to embody wisdom transformed into perpetrators of real-life horrors? Let's examine these cases. The administrative assistant of death, Irmgard Furchner. Among the Holocaust's darkest narratives emerges Irmgard Furchner's account, demonstrating how administrative authority became a lethal instrument within the Nazi regime. Her story challenges conventional assumptions that only armed personnel bore responsibility for wartime atrocities. Throughout World War II, Furchner maintained what appeared superficially as routine employment, clerical administrator at Stutthof concentration facility in occupied Poland. However, her seemingly mundane desk position concealed a sinister reality. Each document she processed carried fatal implications. Her administrative efficiency masked a darker purpose. Every file organized, record maintained, and document processed directly supported a system resulting in over 10,000 deaths. Her clerical expertise became an integral component of the Nazi extermination apparatus. Following the conflict's conclusion, Furchner experienced decades of freedom while her past actions lurked in shadows. Yet time proved insufficient to obscure her involvement in Holocaust atrocities. In a rare prosecution targeting administrative Nazi collaboration, justice finally prevailed. Recognizing her integral role in the terror regime, the court imposed the ultimate penalty, death. This verdict transcended individual punishment, establishing that responsibility for crimes against humanity extends beyond direct perpetrators to include those who facilitated genocide through paperwork and administrative support. North Carolina's poisonous widow, Blanche Taylor Moore. Amidst peaceful North Carolina, a narrative worthy of detective literature unfolded across decades, featuring a woman who defied elderly stereotypes. Blanche Taylor Moore, born in 1933, would establish notoriety among America's most infamous inmates. Her path to incarceration culminated in 1990 when Moore, aged 57, faced prosecution and subsequent conviction for a chilling offense, fatally poisoning her romantic partner. However, this revelation merely introduced a more extensive chronicle of darkness. As investigators delved deeper, unsettling patterns emerged around Moore. Multiple poisoning incidents became associated with her name, suggesting prolonged criminal activity. Each revelation added sinister dimensions to her story, prompting media outlets to designate her the poisonous widow. The case's particular fascination stemmed from her ability to maintain normalcy within a small community while allegedly executing precisely calculated crimes. Moore's story captured widespread attention, becoming North Carolina's most discussed criminal proceeding. Currently, at 91, Blanche Taylor Moore remains among death row's longest-serving residents. Her enduring presence serves as a perpetual reminder that malevolence often wears an inconspicuous mask. The psychological impact of Moore's case stems from its contradiction of societal expectations. Her story continues fascinating and disturbing observers, demonstrating how evil can operate beneath ordinary appearances, persisting until justice finally prevails. Unrestrained by time, the Albert Flick Chronicle. In 1979, a horrifying spectacle unfolded as a young girl witnessed an unimaginable tragedy. Her mother, Sandra, succumbed to 14 violent knife wounds inflicted by Albert Flick, her stepfather. This brutal act marked the beginning of a narrative proving how age provides unreliable indication of criminal tendencies. The judiciary imposed a 25-year sentence, appearing adequate for such savagery. Many believed a quarter-century's confinement would neutralize threats through aging and rehabilitation processes. This assumption would prove catastrophically flawed. Upon release in 2004, Flick reintegrated into society. Correctional authorities, following standard protocols, released an individual presumed reformed through time and punishment. Subsequent events would expose this judgment's fatal error. Merely 6 years post-release, in 2010, Flick's violent tendencies resurfaced. Another knife assault mirrored his previous behavior pattern, returning him to custody. Yet the story's darkest chapter remained unwritten. 2014 marked a controversial judicial determination. Despite his violent history, encompassing homicide and armed assault, a judge made a catastrophic assessment. Citing advanced age, the court deemed Flick too elderly to present danger, and ordered his release. His imprisonment period witnessed physical transformation, graying hair, softening features marking time's passage. This external aging, combined with controlled institutional behavior, contributed to subsequent judicial misjudgments proving tragically misguided. Sandra's daughter carries permanent psychological scars from witnessing her mother's murder, while the judicial system prepared decisions carrying tragic future implications. This case exemplifies critical systemic failure, underestimating elderly offenders' danger potential, despite clear, consistent violence patterns. A fatal misjudgment, Kimberly Dobbie's story. Following his 2014 release, elderly but lethal Flick developed an obsession with 48-year-old Kimberly Dobbie. Upon learning of her planned departure, his possessive thoughts intensified. Possession or elimination became his only options. The fatal confrontation occurred publicly outside a Lewiston, Maine laundromat. In broad daylight, Flick inflicted 11 fatal wounds while Dobbie's 11-year-old twins, Dylan and Cole, witnessed their mother's murder, a trauma that would forever alter their lives. Witnesses reported hearing Dobbie's desperate pleas for peace moments before the attack. One bystander attempted intervention upon noticing the assaults beginning, but arrived too late to prevent fatal injuries targeting her heart and lung. Surveillance footage captured the horrifying sequence, showing spectators and children fleeing in terror as events unfolded. Displaying remarkable courage amid horror, one individual subdued Flick post-attack, incapacitating him with a strategic kick and maintaining restraint until authorities arrived. This intervention, though too late for Dobbie, prevented the perpetrator's escape. The subsequent trial proceeded swiftly, even without jury awareness of Flick's previous crimes. Evidence proved irrefutable. The attack had multiple witnesses and security camera documentation. Flick received his second homicide conviction for Kimberly Dobbie's murder. Dobbie's story transcends individual tragedy, symbolizing systemic failure in underestimating repeat offenders based solely on advanced age. Her death orphaned 2 young boys and shocked a community, joining a legacy of victims including Flick's first wife, whose daughter relived personal trauma through this new tragedy. Religious community shaken. The Francisco Lopez Ferreira case. Within a peaceful township where tranquility masked impending tragedy, 66-year-old Francisco Lopez Ferreira shattered community foundations. This case proved particularly disturbing through its stark contrast between his apparent physical vulnerability and his actions' brutality. March 2017 witnessed the community's peace dissolve through an incomprehensible crime. The victim, Simone de Mora Fatin Lopez, known for her religious devotion and church participation, met a tragic end. Her spouse, Cesar Augusto Lopez, characterized her as compassionate and dedicated, while prosecutors later termed her an unwitting participant in her own demise. Throughout the 4-hour judicial proceeding, Ferreira presented a contradictory image, limping with shackled feet, projecting weakness. This frail appearance sharply contrasted with his actions' savagery. His testimony offered inconsistent accounts, including claims of warning Simone to maintain distance before the incident. Prosecutor Marcos Antonio Leles constructed an unassailable case demonstrating premeditation. Medical examinations revealed disturbing elements, including specific trauma indicating extraordinary cruelty. Defense attempts to suggest victim culpability through acknowledgement of Ferreira's criminal history only intensified public outrage. Law enforcement located Ferreira 7 days post-crime, concealed within Rio Preto's industrial sector. His compromised physical state necessitated medical intervention, during which he acknowledged his actions. The court imposed 36-year secure confinement, encompassing multiple charges: premeditated murder reflecting base motives, exceptional cruelty, ambush tactics, revenge motivation, suffocation methods, and gender-based violence. Despite defense mitigation efforts, prosecutors deemed the sentence appropriate, declaring, "This demanding process achieved complete jury comprehension." The predator behind gray hair, John Ackland's revelation. Columbia County's courtroom witnessed a chilling narrative as 60-year-old John Ackland faced judgment for acts shocking collective conscience. Judge Jonathan De Nichols presided over proceedings testing fundamental understanding of human malevolence. The judicial chamber revealed devastating accusations involving 2 young victims. Even veteran legal professionals struggled processing prosecutions presented evidence. Survivors demonstrated exceptional courage confronting their tormentor. Their expressions revealed complex emotional layers, relief in pursuing justice alongside persistent trauma. One survivor expressed, "Finally achieving opportunity to address these experiences brings partial healing." Evidence presentation struck attendees profoundly. Prosecution constructed overwhelming proof, eliminating reasonable doubt. Survivors listened attentively, finding solace in finally receiving acknowledgement and belief. Ackland maintained disturbing emotional detachment throughout proceedings. His disconnection appeared notable, refusing to acknowledge his actions' irreversible impact even when directly confronted. Defense counsel John Hillman pursued clemency unsuccessfully. The judge, recognizing the crime's magnitude, found no basis for mercy. His address to Ackland resonated through the chamber. Your second interview day marked your final moment of earthly freedom. The unprecedented sentence delivered justice: 335 years state imprisonment. Ackland maintained downward gaze throughout sentencing, his demeanor unchanged facing lifetime confinement. This case serves as stark reminder that predators may hide behind age's facade. The extraordinary sentence length reflects not only crime severity but establishes precedent. Advanced age neither diminishes criminal gravity nor justifies reduced accountability toward victims. Prejudice and delayed justice. The Gregory McMichael narrative. In a case that fundamentally shook American society and reignited discourse on racial prejudice, 68-year-old Gregory McMichael, alongside his son Travis McMichael, perpetrated one of contemporary history's most disturbing episodes: the pursuit and elimination of Ahmaud Arbery. The McMichael trial exposed disturbing intersections between prejudice and violence. Charges expanded beyond premeditated homicide to include bias-motivated offenses, revealing deep-rooted discriminatory motivations underlying their actions. Throughout verdict delivery, Gregory McMichael's expression underwent notable transformation, shifting from initial disbelief toward profound disappointment, revealing persistent conviction in his actions' justification. Evidence suggested both father and son maintained belief in their conduct's legitimacy, a perspective jurors definitively rejected. Legal representatives expressed verdict dissatisfaction, announcing appellate intentions. They maintained their client genuinely believed in his actions' righteousness, inadvertently highlighting how entrenched prejudices distort reality and justice perceptions. McMichael maintained emotionless composure during sentencing, contrasting sharply with the profound community and Arbery family impact. The final judgment proved decisive: lifetime imprisonment plus 20 additional years, detailed across multiple counts. Second count: fatal act during felony, lifetime without conditional release possibility. Seventh count: severe physical assault, 20 consecutive years. Eighth count: 10 simultaneous years. Ninth count: 5 simultaneous years. The case prompted profound justice reflections. Courtroom observers noted, while Wanda Cooper-Jones addressed closure, genuine resolution remains elusive, representing a regrettable reality. Multiple parties seek resolution: mother, father, broader community. Gregory McMichael's conviction transcends individual accountability, establishing precedent in confronting systemic discrimination and bias-motivated violence. Advanced age neither diminished his actions' gravity nor justified leniency, demonstrating justice's age-blind application when properly administered. Final thoughts and invitation. These accounts challenge conventional perceptions about elderly individuals and criminal behavior. Each narrative demonstrates how advancing age provides no guarantee against malevolent actions, reminding us to remain vigilant regardless of appearances. The cases presented range from administrative complicity in genocide to personal acts of violence, illustrating the diverse manifestations of elderly criminal behavior. They serve as sobering reminders that justice must remain blind to age while considering all evidence and circumstances. These stories also highlight critical systemic issues: the tendency to underestimate elderly offenders, the importance of considering past behavioral patterns, and the necessity of evidence-based rather than assumption-based judicial decisions. For those impacted by these accounts of elderly perpetrators' crimes, we invite you to join our subscriber community. Enable notification preferences to receive updates on similar investigative content, and share your perspectives on which narrative most significantly affected your understanding of this complex issue. Remember, advancing age never guarantees moral development or eliminates criminal tendencies. Vigilance and evidence-based assessment remain essential regardless of demographic factors. Until our next investigative presentation, maintain awareness that appearances often mask complex realities, and justice must remain blind to age while pursuing truth and accountability.